Welcome back, everybody, to Pooley Mag TV. So today, I just a quick one about Manchester United, ex-Manchester United players. How salty and bitter are ex-Manchester United players? You know, they're getting paid mega bucks to be pundits. They were paid mega bucks, to be players for Manchester United. Won loads and loads of trophies, and none of them have got a personality other than Roy Keane. But all he does is try to rage bait half the time, doesn't he? And clickbait. And, you got Paul Scholes, who's, God, his personality, leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it? He'd make an onion cry, that one, wouldn't he? Paul Scholes is one boring bastard, isn't he? And they just like to take pot shots at Newcastle and other smaller clubs, for celebrating victories and celebrating success, and I think it's down to jealousy, because I think they see the likes of Villa and they see the likes of Newcastle now coming up, and Manchester United, where they at 14th, 15th in the league. Amorim hasn't got a clue, and I just think Manchester United are on the downward spiral, and these pundits can't seem to hack that. Football comes in cycles. You look at AC Milan in Italy. Now, where are AC Milan at? They're a spent force, aren't they, in Italy? But that'll come back round. In 10 years, they'll probably win Serie A again. Manchester United will come back round. But at the minute, they're in a downward cycle. On a really bad downward cycle. And these players just can't take it, can they? You see Paul Scholes, man, and Roy Keane, and, Gary Neville now and then. Gary Neville pretends to be happy for other teams, but he's not. You can see it's through gritted teeth. Paul Scholes just outwardly doesn't like any other team, even though he's an Oldham fan, which makes absolutely no sense at all. I think, the fact that these teams still think Manchester United are relevant because they sell a load of shirts, they're not relevant no more. Not on the football pitch, they're not. They got tore a new one off a really, really good Nottingham Forest team. And still, it's Manchester United had a bad day. Forest will come back down to earth next season. Well, I hope Forest don't. I hope Nottingham Forest don't come down to earth next season. I hope Nottingham Forest stick in, and I hope Nottingham Forest do well again next season. I hope Newcastle finish above them, obviously, but I want Nottingham Forest to do well. I want the likes of West Ham, and I want the likes of Everton, and I want the likes of Wolves, and I want the likes of Brighton, Villa, all them to start doing well and all, and keep doing well if they are doing well. And get rid of this red cartel, you know, that ruins the Premier League. The media bias towards Liverpool and Arsenal, and Manchester United is just horrendous. It does my absolute head in. You know what I mean? There's just no need for it. Manchester United were great under Ferguson, but they've been shite since. Yes, they've won a few trophies. Mourinho was probably the best manager they've had, and they hounded him out. They hounded Solskjaer out. They've hounded Ten Hag out. They've hounded Van Gaal out. They've hounded Moyes out. Now they've got Ruben Amorim and the 15th in the league or wherever they are. They're irrelevant. They are an irrelevant team. And these pundits who keep big in Manchester United, or Graham Souness, a Liverpool legend, creams in his pants over Manchester United all the time. Manchester United are a spent force. You don't see Real Madrid 15th in La Liga, do you? You never see Barcelona 15th in La Liga. You know what I mean? Or Bayern Munich 15th in the Bundesliga. Manchester United are on their way down. They've spent on absolute dross for the last 15 years. Fergie knew. He got out at the right time. He knew that they were on the downward spiral. He knew he'd taken that team as far as he could go. He could have managed another 2 or 3 years, but he knew he'd taken that club as far as it could go when he won that last league. And he looked at that squad and thought, "Oh, I ain't getting much out of that next season." And then Moyes comes in and buys two midfielders, Fellaini and Mata. They finish seventh after winning the league, and they've never recovered from that. And that was what, 12, 13 years ago now? Get over it. They've been unsuccessful for a better part of nearly 2 decades now. You know what I mean? How long can they last? How long can that name last now? You know what I mean? You don't hear rock bands who haven't had a hit for 30 years who are still going, even mentioned in conversations as the greatest rock band in the world. You know what I mean? Because they're not now. They've had their day. They haven't. They haven't had a hit for 30 years. You know what I mean? Nobody mentions them anymore. You know what I mean? Because they're not relevant to modern day society. Just like Manchester United are not relevant to modern day Premier League football. They're not the flagship club no more. They're not the poster boys of the Premier League no more. And the likes of Paul Scholes must cry every time they lose. You know, go back home and cry, and put a toe in his mouth, and suck his toe. You know, he likes a bit of toe in his mouth, doesn't he? Paul Scholes, a freak. You know, and they just must hate themselves. They must hate other clubs that are doing better. He's a multi-millionaire, guys. I mean, he's got now better to do than whinge and bemoan the success of other clubs. Get a life, man. Anyway, that's my rant over. Pooley Mag TV, over and out.